Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about the Fox X-Men Rogue trope. So what exactly is that? Well, it's a term I've coined from the Fox X-Men movies when it deals with that of Rogue, specifically in live action. There's a reason why I have these three characters up, because basically the last two fall under that same trope that the Fox X-Men Rogue did, and that's basically character assass, to where, like, can't say the whole word, where basically it's like they take a well-known character from either the comic or the cartoon series, and instead of staying faithful to how that character should be portrayed, they completely just ruin the character by introducing us to somebody you don't even recognize personality wise and stuff. And the reason is to that of a female superhero character. Now, this could be also to any of a male character, but it's just these three specifically I wanted to talk about and everything. Because these three characters are very similar to each other in terms of like comics and animation and stuff. Now, like I said before, I don't read comics, but I get introduced to these characters through animation. And animation does them very well. It does them very proper. It's to the point that where you can watch them in animation and you feel like you know exactly what the comic book character is doing. Then you get to live action, and all of a sudden, you don't recognize these characters' personalities anymore. They're completely 100% changed, just like flipped on their head. Their attitude, their charisma, their like strength, like, their powers and stuff is all completely just wiped away. So, like, I started noticing that with Rogue in the Fox X-Men movies. I think it came out in 2000, 2001, I'm not sure. But, like, basically, they did Rogue so dirty in the live action X-Men movies. It was to the point where they took one of my favorite characters and just ruined her. And I mean, they ruined her. They basically made her into a scared little girl. And that's how the other two, Raven and America Chavez, are in live action. They pretty much just made them into scared little girls. And when I say they're very similar, I really do mean it. Like, okay, when I say they took away their strengths, their personalities, their emotional like turmoil and everything like that, and then they replaced them with being like scared little girls who happen to be the main plot of like the story or movie or TV show you're watching. They're always being pursued by like the main villain and everything, and the main male lead takes them under their wing as kind of like a mentor and a father figure, like, or an older brother figure and stuff. And it's weird how that formula has been replicated into other like superhero shows or movies. And that's why I say, this is like a trope now and everything. So to give you some examples, Rogue in animation. Rogue is a female mutant who is sometimes portrayed as like a teen or somewhere in like her 20s. She's young, she's gorgeous. Like, so many people would love to date her, but they can't. See, Rogue is a mutant, and her mutant ability is to absorb other mutant powers or absorb a person's memories, their life force, their pretty much the essence that makes them them, and it puts them asleep, or if they'll put them in a coma. And, the emotional turmoil is like, she wants to date, she wants to kiss, she wants to, like, be with people, she wants to touch people, but she can't. She can never know that feeling. And she has to dress her body completely covered up, wear gloves on her hands, and, has to live her life alone because she is unable of human tactile, like, functions and stuff. She cannot touch nobody. And it really just like eats her up inside. And, her secondary power is the one she stole from Miss Marvel, to where she can fly and she's really, really strong. And so with her powers, her actual real power, like, she put the first boy she ever kissed in a coma, and that was the first dude she ever kissed and everything. And, you see that, yes, in live action, but the problem is they stripped her of her personality. See, Rogue is a hothead. She's fierce, she's strong-headed, she will sass you, like she has a temper. And it's part of that temper, that sudden flair she has that people like. And it helps make her strong-willed because she will not take no crap from nobody. And with her having the powers that she has, she really doesn't take no crap from nobody because she can literally put you in a coma or toss you halfway across, like, the room and everything. And for the live action X-Men movie, they kept the part where, she can absorb people's powers. And they made the part where she learned, like, not learned, but yearns to want to be with somebody and stuff. She wants to touch people. She wants to have a relationship. She wants to have normal friends and stuff, but she's scared. So she runs away. And this whole runaway trope is something that will come up with the other two people in the thumbnail and stuff. And so, like, they make it to where she's just a terrified little girl who whines and complains a lot. She, and part of her, like, the thing about Rogue in the cartoons and the comics, she doesn't whine. She hates the idea of having these powers. She wants to get rid of them. But you don't really see her whine about it and stuff. She just, takes it like head on in a very temperamental, angry kind of way. But for live action, is that she's moping, she's crying, she's screaming, she's hollering. She is completely removed from who she is from the comics and the cartoon series. And it's quite baffling and everything. And that's how she was for every movie, pretty much. Like, she was like that extremely for the first movie. Then in the second movie, like, it's just she starts a relationship but can't really do nothing, and then she's hollering and screaming again. And by the third movie, the actress had to do another movie, so they wrote her completely off and everything. And then by the fourth movie, or one of the movies that equal to like the four, she was completely gone in the theatrical cut. They just completely scrapped her. And then they had to give like the road cut where she's actually in the movie, but she's held captive and everything. And then she has to use her power to do something to send Wolverine back in time. And that's basically it and everything. And it's just so baffling how they just ruined her character in live action. And I feel bad for the actress because she wanted to play a faithful version of Rogue, but that stupid director who is disgusting and got canceled and everything, he wouldn't allow that and stuff. Now we move over to Raven in the live action Titan show. Titans is a mess of a show. Titans is not very faithful to like source material, the comics, or even the cartoon series. I got introduced to Raven from like Teen Titans, the cartoon series. I've only seen 3 adaptations of Raven. the original cartoon series, those animated movies, and of course, live action. And so, honestly, I'm not really even sure how Raven is supposed to be portrayed in the comics, but when it comes to the two animated stuff, it's basically she's a goth girl with like, she's like headstrong and she's just very dreary. She worries about letting her emotions out too much because, also her father is the literal devil of DC. And he's always trying to use her to come back to the world of the living. And so she's the character who feels out of place, very much like Rogue. She feels alone. She can't do things that other people get to do. Have fun, laugh and smile and this and that, because she has to keep her emotions in check because her powers are very strong. She has demonic powers to where, well, in the cartoon series, she's able to levitate stuff by putting like a shadow figure around something and moving it. She can teleport here and there, and when her powers become out of whack, it gets pretty scary. Let's just put it like that. In the animated series, they made her basically into a goth teen. She's into all the dreary stuff, the mopey stuff, and she just spends her whole time trying to be as calm as possible because she doesn't want her powers to go out of whack. Then, of course, when it comes time for her birthday, she wants the day to pass because that's the day her father can try to come through her body and, come to the world of the living and stuff. And the animated movie is just she is on a team. She likes to be alone. That's kind of how the one in the animated series is too. She likes to be alone because she has to be alone. She doesn't like telling people too much stuff about her past and her family. And she worries that, her father is going to come. And so she's always shunning people away. Then you get to that. Oh, wait, there's 4 different versions of her. So I forgot about Teen Titans Go for a good reason. Anyway, then there is the live action version. And I said this in my season 1 review of Titans. They basically took the Fox X-Men Rogue and made her into their version of Raven. She has these powers she can't control. There are bad people after her. She runs away from home. Her power is extremely strong and everything. And she spends the whole time moping and being upset and wanting to be normal and all this other crap, at least in the first season. And of course, she's taken in by that male figure, just like Rogue was in the first X-Men movie. Then when you get into other seasons, this is when they try to experiment with her character and make her more relatable. The main thing in all 4 seasons of the live action Titans is that they make this version of Raven too normal. She talks normal. There's no gothness to her. She acts like a girly girl at times. She acts like a sad, scared little girl at times. She's having way too much fun when she is interacting with her friends and stuff, when she's not being chased around. And she's just a typical girl with lots and lots of emotion. And she could care less about keeping her emotions in check. And I'm just like, that's what made her character so interesting. And they took that completely away from her. They took all her depth and everything. It's just so annoying. Because the thing about Raven in the animated series is that I like all the characters, but I had 2 that was my favorite. Robin was my favorite, and Raven was my second. And so I really wanted to like this version of Raven, and they just completely screwed up. And one thing all these 3 characters have in common is that they tend to wear a jacket or a cloak with a hoodie to it and stuff. And then there is America Chavez from the MCU Doctor Strange 2, multiverse of madness. Now, when it comes to America Chavez, I'm very unfamiliar with this character. I've only seen her been portrayed twice, one in live action and one in Marvel Rising, the animated shorts, movie, show, whatever that was and stuff. And so, like I said before when I was reviewing all this stuff, when it came to the America Chavez in live action, I was annoyed that she was the wrong color because she is a dark-skinned Latino alien, and for the movie, they made her into a very light-skinned Latino-like alien. But that's not what this video is about. That's like the thing that just irritated me when I first saw that. But then what irritated me about her was her personality. I said the acting was okay, it's like whatever. But it was her personality. Once again, she's being chased by a bad guy. She's supposed to be able to fly just like the other two, but she doesn't just like the other two. That's another thing that bugs me. All three of these characters can fly, but they don't in live action. And so, like, she's being pursued. She has no way to get back home. She's scared, and the male lead actor is taking her under his wing and everything. And in terms of personality, see, when it came to the animated America, I said this before, she had one of the coolest just introductions of all. When they was introducing all the characters, all of a sudden you see somebody on the street just come in on a motorcycle, swerving through cars like a boss and everything. The America Chavez in animation is the tallest of the group. She's super strong and she will punch the crap out of you just like Rogue from animation. Not only that, but she has a chip on her shoulder and an attitude. She's fierce, she's confident, and one thing that was cool about the animated stuff is that she says the word chica a lot. She's, because she's Latino and stuff. And so she will say Latino phrases and everything. And it really makes her character stand out as this hot-headed type person in animation. Also, her power is really cool. She can punch you with star burst type things or something like that. And she can open portals and stuff like that. In the live action movie, however, she's just a teenager who's scared and being pursued by the bad guy. She has a little sass to her, but other than that, she's just a normal, regular teenage girl with a happy personality. And you would think, okay, well, this is the multiverse. There's probably a different version who's more accurate. Nope, because it's stated she is literally the only one. And not only are we stuck with her, but she only used her power one time and one time only in the movie. And because of that, if you didn't know who she was, you wouldn't even know what her power is and stuff. And all throughout the movie, she's constantly just being pursued, being scared because the bad guy is trying to get her and everything. And it's like, how do they do it so great in animation, but they ruin it in live action? There's no sass to her. She doesn't use no Latino slang, no Spanish whatsoever. And it's just like, she's just ordinary. She's just an ordinary girl. And that really just frustrates me and everything. And it's literally the same crap that they did in the live action Fox X-Men movies when it came to that of Rogue. And it's just weird how all these characters are similar in animation and in comics, but then when you get to live action, they're like, all right, let's just rip everything from them and just make them ordinary. I don't want ordinary. And when it comes to America, the thing that bugs me the most about her in live action is that towards the end of the movie, now all of a sudden, they're going to teach her magic. similar to that of Doctor Strange. And I'm all like, why? She don't do that in the comics, I don't think. She never did that in animation. Why are you changing her power set around? Like, I don't get why the MCU does that a lot, I'm noticing. They're doing that whole Fox X-Men thing to where sometimes in the Fox X-Men, like I said before, personalities will be different, backgrounds will be different, the origin will be a little different. Sometimes their powers would be like tweaked to where it'll just be a little different, but for the most part they kept that the same. But in the MCU, I've noticing now they keep changing people's powers around and stuff, like Miss Marvel and everything. That is not her power from the comic. And America Chavez doesn't do magic. She's an alien who can hit starbursts and everything. I don't get why they're changing so much crap. I want to have a reason to like these characters in live action. I want a reason to be all like, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about animation. They're awesome in animation. Because it's like, if you was to see them in live action, like say I gloat about them, right? Talking about, oh, how awesome this character is and how much of a boss they are and da-da-da-da-da. And then you see them in live action, you be like, dude, what are you smoking? Because they're kind of ordinary and boring in live action. And that's because they've been robbed of who they are and stuff. And then of course, when they're done wrong, portrayed wrong on live action screens, then people's all like, oh, this is boring. Oh, look at female empowerment. And it's just kind of like, no, these characters are actually cool. It's just the writers and directors screwed them up for some bizarre reason. And I don't get that. And it's like, if you were to watch the Marvel Rising stuff, you would see she's actually pretty like cool in everything. She's not like the greatest of all characters on there, but she's a whole lot better than what she is in live action. Raven is a whole lot better in animation than she's in live action, and Rogue is awesome in animation. It's just I don't get that, man. I don't, and yeah, like I said before, they do change other characters' personalities, even the guys, but I do find it odd and bizarre that when it comes to these three females who are very similar, they all get the X-Men Rogue treatment and stuff. I'm so pissed I could flip a table. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.